Hey everyone, this is my Patreon proud reaction to the 5th episode of Steins Gate Zero. And last episode, it seems like we got a lot. We had Kyoma kind of worried about some timeline shifting stuff going on, even though supposedly there's been no real reason for that, at least from his perspective. Like, we haven't been doing any time machine microwave stuff, right? So we don't know quite what's going on with that, but we have got a new character kind of introduced, at least by name and by flashback, Shina Kagiri, which is like the adopted child of Mayuri, so that's the thing that's now kind of thrown into the mix. She just, I guess, traveled through time, got stuck somewhere, then aged her way naturally to our current time, so now she's like quite a bit older than she was before, so she's probably around now. I want to say they said she was around 22 years old, something like that. So we're kind of searching for her. But it seems like maybe that person Ruka's already discovered, you know? Because Ruka called up Kyoma to talk to him, get his help with something. And we just saw a woman, similar hair color, I think. Didn't see her face, so pretty sure that's Kagiri there. Not quite sure what her deal is, but I'm sure we'll find out soon enough. And to top things off, Moeka, you know, everyone's favorite woman, just walked through the door, you know. I'm sure Kyoma is always excited to see her, right? They've always had great interactions together. So that's where we're at. That's where we're at. So let's see where we go from here. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, right where we left off. I know who you are all too well. So, yeah. Do I have to? You don't know what this woman has done in alternate timelines. Don't look to me for answers. I did not invite her. I would never invite her. This world is not even real at all. I like that's the first line of the opening. Because, you know, there's some truth to that, because this is kind of like an if route, right? If things went slightly different near the end of the first season, Steins Gate proper. So I think that's what it's referring to. You know, it's not how things are meant to be. He's meant to have actually saved Kurisu. This really is a really good opening. They had a lot to live up to with season 1's opening, so I'm glad it's as good as it is. Steins Gate Zero. Solitude of the Antigomadism Entangled Sheep. Yeah, that's a title. That's a pleasant news story. Using our trusty gadget, I see. You can only be so calm with the woman that kills Mayuri several times. Just don't leave them alone together. But yeah, the concern is real, for sure. Also around her. Arc rewrite. You trust this woman, Daru? Yeah, I'm sure there's more than just that, though. So I guess it makes sense why he's bringing her on this. I guess she's qualified to help, I guess. 22, I was right on the number. Well, she's alive. And here's one with her wearing clothes. Just kidding. All I know is I'm not gonna trust her. Man, the tension. Define okay. It's very important. Moeka, you just look so suspicious. Well, you could say that. Well, apparently not obvious to everyone. Bringing that up. Please do. Never drop your guard down around that woman. I knew he was gonna take it that way. Okay, not the best time. We just ignored the call, I guess. Rejected. Are you not a pro? He's just ignoring you. He's just got a lot going on, you know? Just don't worry about it. Yeah, you may have had something to do with it. Oh, you brought food? They're pretty convenient, aren't they? If we want to fight for it, you get a half-price one. Yeah, don't be casting those stones. A great place for that. Oh my god. I wasn't expecting that level of embarrassed blush reaction. Maybe there is something brewing here. I believe you. Hey, doesn't matter how far Akihabara is, it's worth going to. She's definitely friends with Krisu. In fact, are we sure that's not her emoto? uh. Well, I guess she's done something. I mean, maybe we could talk to Ruka. I mean, are we gonna have any follow-up to that? Hey, that was mine. Give it back. Oh, that's suspicious. That could be a problem. A lot of help you are. Oh, that doesn't sound good. We know a foreigner. I don't know, it's pretty fast to be making friends. Yeah, one thing we definitely don't know is, like, how she's lived these past 12 years. But we do know that much, at least. Yeah, you know a foreigner, you know where it starts. There can't be that many foreigners. I think we did seem being a little bit suspicious last episode, if I remember correctly. Well, that definitely looks suspicious. You might want to turn around. Yeah, there's a lot of people here. Just don't go anywhere dark and secluded. And we could rest at a maid cafe for a while. That guy's probably the guy. I'm just so full of anxiety watching this. But don't go to a dark alley. Well, it was nice knowing you. Risu-senpai. Oh, those are different shoes. I mean, those look like high heel shoes, right? Like, that's not great for chasing someone. Is that the thing you took the blood out of last season? I think so. Well, at least it's not covered in blood. Oh, she's still here. Well, yeah, that's what I figured. Doesn't explain anything, though. Well, it looks like a hug, actually. Who are you? Maho's boyfriend. She speaks English. So this is a foreigner, too? Okay. Damn. That's a chest. Okay. You scared me, Maho. I thought you were in trouble. So does she speak Japanese, or...? Okay, there we go. The Japanese are pretty good, too. Whew. It's... Yeah, I'm sure your research is plenty important. Yeah. I figured there was, yeah, somebody else as well. There was someone else, is what I thought, because I'm pretty sure it was a different person both times. Because I think we got a good look at it before, right? Like, he was right behind her. So, yeah, it was clearly two different people. Bye. I think it might be. I'm seeing a lot of blushing from you, so... It's a little bit hard to explain. But daughter, you missed this beautiful woman. You should have been there. I don't think it works that way. I don't think that's true. We haven't missed an lolly character, haven't we? Didn't even notice that. I suppose we could use one. You wouldn't understand Daru's thoughts. Don't worry about it. Yeah. Really shouldn't ignore your AI girlfriend's calls. Well, I mean, if you're not gonna talk to her, there's no point in having it. But it looks and sounds so much like her. But it's a great system. Die die on there. Okay, but please don't die. I keep having to remember who Fubuki is. Not that VTuber either. Yeah. Training simulator. Oh yeah, that thing. It was upside down, so it took me a second to remember what that was. Oh, what did you find, Mayuri? Oh, snow? Is that what we're reacting to? Yeah, it's snowing. Just don't slip. Mayuri. Okay, but I will see you again, right? Right? Yeah, I was about to say, are we just gonna keep ignoring the Ruka thing? Like, that sounded important. Like, fairly urgent, and we just kind of ignored it. Which is especially ridiculous considering that was probably the person we're looking for that Ruka saw talking about. Although it's just a guess on my part, I'm fairly confident in it. Or Ruka's dead because you abandoned Ruka. Oh no, Ruka's here. It's okay, it's all Kiyoma's fault. Yes. Oh, we brought them here, okay. Yeah, let's see this lady. I want to get a better look at her. For plot figuring out reasons, of course. That is definitely her. And is she gonna look a lot like Krisu? I bet she does. Yep, that looks a lot like Krisu. So there had to have been some sort of a cloning attempt of her in the future. Probably with the intention of putting AI together with it. I have to imagine. I have to imagine. Yeah, just nickname, don't worry about it. Just a nod. Yeah, this is that guest. Are you a shy one? Well, we may have an idea of who she is. Really? Really? Now we just gotta take our Kyuu smartphone app and download it into her head, and then we got a perfect combo. I'm only half joking on that. Yeah, who's Kana? Oh, right, okay. We're calling her Kana. Kinda depressing, aren't you, Kagiri? Yeah, maybe like a family heirloom on your person? You're a lot of help, you know that? Very important question. A bag. Mayuri. Is she gonna... Oh! Oh. Wow, yeah, that would be a hint. Because, yeah. But it's quite old. Yeah, that's probably the exact same one. Like, the exact same one. Because it is. It's from the future. Then from the past. But... yeah, I think seeing Mayuri may have triggered something. Not to mention Suzuha's there too now, so... something was bound to happen. And yeah, she actually recognizes her, so... that's... I'm glad we didn't linger on that too long. Because, yeah, Suzuha knows what she looks like. Obviously, she looks different now than she did before, but of course she would recognize her. Like, I only saw her as in her child form, and I could tell that's who it was. So, of course Suzuha could. It's actually a little bit complicated because, you know, Mayuri wouldn't recognize her because only future Mayuri interacted with her, but she would recognize this Mayuri because this Mayuri looks similar to future Mayuri. And I was kind of doing these kind of calculations in my head. I was watching this scene, like, who would recognize her, who wouldn't? Who does she recognize? That's what, like, at least 80% of my brain power was focused on during that scene, if that makes sense. But yeah, Suzuha would recognize her. And she should recognize both Mayuri and Suzuha. You know, not counting the amnesia thing, which further complicates things. You know, when I first saw her in the previous episode, I thought her chest was a bit bigger than Kurisu's, but I'm not so sure anymore, because sometimes chest size can fluctuate in different shots because it's 2D animation, it's always redrawn a bunch of times. Because I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be some kind of clone of Kurisu. Like, I'm not gonna let go of that theory anytime soon. So anyway, that was the 5th episode of Steins Gate 0. Okay, so this episode, Now, where do we start with this one? This was an episode, right? So what was that news report at the very beginning? Was that actually important at all? I think it's something about animals or something. I think that was at the very beginning. Pretty close to it. Let's see. Okay, it was after the opening. Gotcha. So yeah, there was this news report. Okay, so yeah, there was like dots then to not be human. The bodies missing their brains and portions of the cranium. So just straight up taking the brains of animals is what it was, right? Yeah, chimpanzees and orangutans, so something close to humans, right? Mass animal corpses found in America. So clearly, yeah, foreigner would be involved in this. So that I didn't think too much of it at the time. I mean, it was kind of in the background, but that was probably pretty important, right? Because we were talking a lot about scientific research and project and stuff like that. So clearly, that's important. That's probably what eventually leads to actual, you know, more human experimentation. Like I talked about how Kagiri is most likely some kind of result of attempting to clone Kurisu, right? Kurisu was a very smart person, a genius, so there would be a lot of value in getting her back somehow. And I can imagine this whole AI thing being a good first step to that. You preserve the memories and all that good stuff, like the software essentially, that being like half the equation, and the other half of the equation being more physical, a body. So that would be a bit more genetics, human experimentation, and specifically with brains, like was clearly with the chimpanzees and stuff like that. So the future probably brings all this together to try to make a new like a Kurisu 2.0, right? So that's probably how that all comes together. It's just a matter of like who is involved in this, who knows what's going on, and that kind of thing, which will clarify going forward. Like our foreigner friend that calls Kiyoma Rintaro, he could probably be involved in this in some capacity. He's obviously a bit suspicious. And then we had the guy that was clearly following Maho, that was clearly up to something, was trying to do something, and obviously the blonde foreigner, I wish I remembered his name, I don't. He obviously knew where Maho was going, so he might have told him about that and may have been trying to do something there. I don't know what, though. That's just an assumption, though. I have no real evidence to connect those two things, but clearly that guy was trying to do something. What exactly? Just like kidnap her? If so, why? Like, there's still a lot I don't quite get on that. But yeah, the Moeka stuff, she showed up. Apparently, Dada was enlisting her help. He kind of gave a bit of an explanation about how they're involved with each other and how she can help. And, you know, fair enough. Fair enough. Kiyoma has not interacted at all with Kurisu this episode, I don't think. She's obviously trying to call him, but he's like, nope. Because he's kind of working through a lot of things. The whole Maho giving him a talk about how that's not Kurisu, she's not real, don't treat her as a replacement for the real Kurisu. Although I think a lot of that's still ringing in his head, and he's not really sure how to deal with all this, you know, having what's essentially more or less Kurisu in his hand, but there's someone telling him like, no, that's not the real Kurisu, and his mind trying to kind of just like balance these two thoughts out. So he's having a bit of a rough time with that, and the easiest thing he can do to avoid thinking about that too much is to just not interact with Kurisu, right? So he's kind of just ignoring her right now, which is a little hard to see. But yeah, still finding Kagiri is a big plot point of the episode. We actually ignored the whole Ruka thing for a good chunk of it. Like, I thought we would get into that fairly early, because Ruka made it sound kind of urgent, you know? When Ruka was asking for help. But we didn't get into that till like at least 70% way through the episode. And that was pretty important because that kind of connects to what we're trying to do with Kagiri, but I know Kiyoma didn't know that, so I can't give him too hard of a time on that. But yeah, the chase scene itself, I mean, I assume this guy here, you see it like, I don't know, 9 minutes, 37 seconds behind her. I assume that's a guy that's trying to follow her and whatnot. And at some point we kind of transitioned from that into the girl with high heels, so I kind of figured it was a different person. I just wasn't sure if it was like a good person, like a friend, or somebody working together with him to capture her. Like maybe some kind of pincer attack. I wasn't quite sure what to make of that at first. But since she was wearing high heels, I was kind of assuming she wasn't an antagonist, because why would you chase someone wearing high heels? Like, that was my strongest piece of logic for thinking it might be a friend or something. But I really wasn't very confident in that at all. Like, Kiyoma got there, saw the bags on the floor. I thought she was already, like, fully kidnapped and gone. We would have to find her somehow. Like, I was clearly 100%, that's what I thought the situation was. So I was a little bit surprised when we still heard her voice and stuff like that. And then we saw, yeah, her embracing her. It was clearly like a hug, not a, you know, you're coming with me, you little brat. Like it was like an actual hug. So that was the point where I was like, okay, false alarm, it's cool. I don't know who this lady is, but it's clearly cool. And then first thing she says, oh, it's Maho's boyfriend. You know, clearly a foreigner because she speaks English, but she does know English. She does know Japanese as well, which is pretty convenient because Kyoma's English is not great. So yeah, she seems quite nice, quite stacked, and quite nice. She's a professor as well. I don't know how she plays into things. What did she say her field of research was? I'm pretty sure she mentioned somewhere around here. Okay, this is what I was looking for. Her specialty is psychophysiology. The link of mind and body. That is very telling right there. I didn't quite put it together when I first read that, but now that I've had more time to connect other dots, this makes sense. The link of mind and body is basically what I'm talking about. This whole AI, downloaded memories in the form of an AI, and the body, you know, like a clone or something, a Kurisu clone, you just put them together, and bam, you have something that's pretty close, like probably 95% Kurisu existence, right? So pretty important research, obviously. A lot of implications. And that means she's pretty heavily tied to what's going on. Like, I don't know what she thinks about what's going on. You know, what her motivation is. Is making a new Kurisu like their end game, or is that just part of it? Or like, I don't know. I don't quite know what the full implications of what everyone's trying to do here, but clearly a lot of science is going on in the background. That's what I'm trying to say. So, yeah, things are definitely heating up in this plot. Like, the plot's definitely starting to get rolling with all this scientific development and stuff. That seems to be the main focus, right? Less time travel focus and more just like AI, science, physiology, all this scientific research and advancement and the implications of it. That seems to be kind of the theme of this season, it seems like. So, yeah, we'll see how things pan out. She mentioned Alexis. Is that the blonde guy that I was talking about before whose name I can't remember? Because, you know, that kind of connection would make sense too. So. And yeah, we also confronted him about the AI and the fact that he's just kind of ignoring it. And Kyoma kind of just dodged the issue for now and said, just give me some time to think about it, you know? And that was the end of that for now. I already enjoying the snow a little bit. And then finally, at like, what, the 18 minutes into the episode, Ruka finally shows back up and we can continue with that. You know, which was sad because I wish it happened sooner. But better late than never. And we got to see this woman in all her glory. And she very much looks quite similar to Kurisu. I almost wish we had like a side-to-side comparison. Because I don't think she's like 100% looks like Kurisu, but she's pretty close. She's pretty close. Like I would say Kurisu is a little bit more attractive, but that's just personal preference. Maybe just because she doesn't have the same kind of confidence and tsundere-ness that Kurisu has. You know, maybe that's it. But yeah, they claim she had amnesia, which is just like, you know, such a cliche, honestly. But I'll accept it. I'll accept it. She's been through a lot. It's whatever. And, you know, she is kind of like the clone potential vessel for an AI that I thought she was. It would kind of make sense for her to be a bit on the empty side, right? So that could explain some of it too. And then, yeah, Mayuri walked in, and then bam, yeah, things started to tick in there when her adopted mother, that doesn't sound right, the mother that adopted her, however you would phrase that, just walks into the room. Yeah, they get some gears turning. Then Suzuha does, and it just becomes a party pretty quick. So next episode should be a fun conversation, right? Because obviously Suzuha knows exactly who that is. And yeah, it was the Upa thing that really got things rolling because Mayuri recognized it, because of course she did, because it's hers. You know, just in the future, so it's all old and broken and stuff. Although, it does have wings, which the green one doesn't. I'm not quite sure about that. I mean, it would make sense if the green one had wings and then maybe it fell off over time, so it didn't have it anymore. So maybe it's not the exact same one, but still, it's Upa. It's a thing Mayuri likes. It's still a connection, even if it's not exactly the same one. So I won't overthink that too much. But yeah, by the end of the episode, Kagiri/Kana, I think that was like a temporary name for her, she's been discovered. So that's like step one of our plot this season, done, complete. So what do we do now? Did we actually talk about what we were gonna do with her after we found her? I can't remember. We were looking for her. That's all I remember. So next episode, I guess we'll chat about this, figure out what we're gonna do with her, and all that. And who knows, maybe she'll be like a member of the lab. That'd be pretty cool, wouldn't it? Then she really would start to feel like a replacement for Krisu, but yeah. We had a lot of good blushing from Maho this episode. That's probably my biggest takeaway. So yeah, good episode, definitely. Definitely a good episode. We'll see how things go in the next one. Thank you for watching, and a special thanks to Cnouki and Ryan for supporting the channel. If you enjoyed this video, I hope you consider clicking the like button and leaving a comment, because that's a great and easy way to let me know that people want more. If you want to do something big to help the channel, you can support me on Patreon and get nice benefits like early access to certain videos. See you next time.